This is the current, this is Marina Abramovich. She is the current, chief dark priestess for the Illuminati. That's her standing next to Jacob Rothschild, who's the public head of the 13 families. I don't need to explain to the 13 families, I think you guys know that, right? But they're standing in front of a painting, and that, because, Jacob Rothschild's a patron of the art, and he just happens to rub elbows with satanic priests. And the painting is Satan releasing his legions. They are so powerful and so pervasive, they can be this brazen with who they are and what they do, and nobody can touch them. There's too much money and too much power involved. Yeah, well, the next 5 years are going to get real interesting there. And this is her successor. This is Lady Gaga. I don't know what's happening in that picture on the left, but that's in the early days of their relationship. And on the right-hand side, that's them. That corpse is dipped in honey, and they're eating the honey. I don't know what these guys do for fun, but that's who they are. That's how they party. And these people are running around doing whatever they damn well want. All right, and if people figured out who they really were and what they really did, they'd be dragged into the street and kicked to death by the parents of missing children. Yep. Anyway, so the whole story, sorry to take you there, guys, but the whole story of money and power and corporations doesn't fit until you start adding Satanism. And then that's a wild card. Like, what does that really mean? What's actually going on here? How does this story really work? And I'm not joking when I say I'm one of the world's top 10 exorcists. Like, there's not very many of us out there, but nobody else is doing the research. Nobody else is curious or interested. And hands up if you've spent 10 years around mysticism, if you've been around, and keep your hands up if you've heard anybody talk about demons in any detail. Yeah, right. Okay. So, well, look, what I do is I take kids who just would be medicated and straitjacketed for the rest of their lives, and our team meditates on them until they get their marbles back, and they get their lives back. That's what our team does. I've never heard of anybody else who can successfully pull that stunt. It takes dozens and dozens of hours, but we're good at it because I think we are the leading research team in this. Yeah. Anyway. But now I'm going to call out Metatron. I don't need to explain. Hands up if you need this explained to you. If you know. Okay, so Metatron is the master of angels and demons. But he's also, his sigil, his representation, is 13 circles put together. Or 19 circles put together. And in that configuration, it draws the picture of something called sacred geometry, or also known in mathematical terms as Platonic solids from Plato. He used this magic of Metatron. And these shapes are perfect in that they are all equilateral, and in side length and in angle is identical all the way through. And also, if you put these shapes in a sphere, every corner would touch the edge of the sphere, would touch on the sphere. So these are regarded as perfect shapes. And Metatron is bringing some kind of subliminal code here through that. That is there's a whole other lecture, but that is actually a language. And he's writing lines of computer code that get entered into our reality. And I'm brushing over this, okay? I've got a lot more to say on that topic. But with angels and demons, theologically, Metatron is the leader of both angels and demons, and I'll explain how that works in our modern world, right? I'll use the analogy of a city where the crime lord is Lucifer and the chief of police is Archangel Michael. And Archangel Michael has his police force called the angels and the archangels, and Lucifer has his demonic hordes too. And the crime syndicate operates in a city and robs and manipulates the population, people like you guys, right? Now, the police force is more powerful, so the story goes, right? And could crush the crime syndicate at any time, and never does. Never does. The policy for angels is if one individual calls for help from an angel, that angel will show up and help them. But on the whole human scale, they do nothing. The war in the heavens, between angels and demons does not exist. It is not happening. Our team has been fighting this war for the last 5 years. Since the pandemic started, I thought, I'm not going to go down without a fight. And I rolled up my sleeves and I started attacking demonic dimensions, destroying their infrastructure, they're killing their personnel, making as much mayhem as I could, right? And never once has anyone on any of our teams seen an angelic hit squad. They just sit in the station house and play cards. Hey, look. Hey, that's how it is. That's how it is. They're not doing the job. And Metatron, yeah, not too different from the rest of the world, not from the mundane world either. But Metatron does not want his brigade of angels to fight his brigade of demons and lose all of his troops. But the whole story is set up because demons are bad news and we better do something about it. Oh, we don't have to because there's somebody else who's going to do it. It's the angels. And then they sit on their hands. And the amount of loosh or the amount of money or energetic money that demon kind extracts from humanity is huge. And there's nothing checking it. There's nothing balancing that out. And you know, like people. And so Archangel doesn't want two groups of his own standing and fallen angels to fight because that will reduce Metatron's power. But the story exists. Angels only exist to make us complacent because they'll look after us if the demons come, right? And they never do. And this is the relationship between good and evil. In this picture, they're seen as equal adversaries, right? That each one holds as much power as the other. But that's not true at all. And for those of you who are into astral projection or second sight or whatever, or remote viewing or whatever you want to call it, this is what negative entities look like on people. Now, this being here, the human, he works off his own steam. You know, if he'll walk around and he generates his own energy, he's connected to source, so he will be fine on his own. But the dark side is parasitic, fundamentally parasitic. And it's not connected to source, therefore it must find energy, it must garner energy wherever it can. And it does this by parasiting off of humans and changing their behaviour. And should I spend more time talking about demons in general? Yeah. Hands up, yes? Yeah. Hands up, no? Okay, so it's a big vote, yes. So demons are actually very, very simple creatures. They are built, and I say built, I'm very certain they are built just to stimulate one emotion in a human being. And so, you know, be it anger or despair or sadness or depression or anxiety or whatever it is, right? These spirits are simple machines designed to penetrate the human energetic field and stimulate those emotions over and over and over again. Our current methodology for dealing with that is to medicate people so they don't feel that emotion. But I want you to ask you the question, and they have several different types. Most people just talk about negative entities or parasite spirits, but they've designed at least 6 models of demon to penetrate the human in different ways and manipulate different parts of the spiritual machine or the spiritual construct or the spiritual mechanisms that occur within a human being. But if you separate the host and the parasite, what happens to the host? They thrive. And what happens to the parasite? They shrivel up and die. And that is that relationship. As soon as we push them off, they will eat themselves, and they won't be a problem for us anymore. But you know, since mysticism or the second sight is something we understand really well, but we just don't teach anybody, then this situation will go on for as long as we let it. I don't know if you've seen anything like a demonic